After over 25 years of marriage, we've learned that successful couples have great friendships, put each other first, and focus on light just as much as love. We believe marriage should be fun and easy.
Our goal is to share our journey with the hopes of helping others build strong, happy relationships. Join us as we continue to create our lives beyond I do. Before we get into our episode, we want to share this disclaimer. We are not marriage counselors, nor are we mental health professionals. We simply want to share with you what has worked in our marriage. Now, on to our episode.
All right, we'd like to welcome you back to the Beyond I Do podcast. We have a special guest joining us today by the name of Regina Roberti. Regina comes to us as a transformation and holistic healing health coach. That was good.
Very good.
How you doing today, Regina?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
We're doing good. Thank you. And once again, thank you for joining us.
Yes.
First and foremost, if you would tell us a little bit about yourself and what it means to be a holistic health coach.
So I've been in the wellness field since 2010 officially. It's been 14 years. I originally got into massage therapy. I think it was mostly because it was a calling and I didn't realize it until I was 27. And it just led me on a path of trying to find better health. I wasn't necessarily in terrible health, physical health, but I did have a lot of like sensitivities to things, products, foods, but I had a lot of emotional health issues. Trauma stuff that I needed to work through. So massage therapy kind of led me into eating better, going more green. I was making a lot of homemade products. And then I got a flyer in the mail to go to alternative medicine school. And I thought, that's what I think I want to do. So I got my degree, my bachelor's degree in science with my major in alternative medicine back in, I think it was 2016. I finally graduated. I went through 2 pregnancies, one right as I started school. So that was kind of interesting.
Wow.
Lots of chemistry and math classes while I was with mommy brain. So that was kind of rough. But when I got out, a couple years later, just continued to stay in the massage industry because I was a stay-at-home mom and I wanted to be with my kids. I didn't want them to be with other people, being taken care of by people that I didn't know. We didn't have family locally to us. So I went part-time and I started to build my clientele. I took over a location in Boca Raton, a spa in a luxury apartment complex. And me and my husband decided to build a business out of it. And when COVID hit, it knocked out 98% of my clientele. So I had to find something else to do that didn't involve putting my hands on people because I had no idea if people would want to be touched ever again. It was a scary time for so many people.
Right.
And I got into the coaching industry, which led me into the hypnosis industry because my trainer used to use hypnotherapy at the end of every coaching session to help solidify results with the clients and help them change their saboteur ways, which kept them from being consistent long-term enough to make things a lifestyle. And so I went to school for that and I got my certificate in hypnosis. And still being home, I'm a homeschool mom, I was finding it very hard to find the time to do everything with my clients. Yeah. Preparation was taking so long. The homework that was involved with it was taking a long time after the session was over because we would create personalized scripts and recordings for our clients to listen to for 21 to 30 days. And I kept thinking to myself, like, there's got to be a better way to fast track this. There's got to be a quicker way to work with people without having to do all of this stuff. And so that led me to where I am today with advanced conversational hypnosis.
Okay.
Okay.
And so that is the mode of hypnotherapy that you practice.
Yeah.
Before we learn more about that, I do want to go back to, you said that you had some things going on, and then that you started with massage therapy. And there was a book that I read a couple of years back, The Body Knows the Score, I believe is the name of it.
Yeah, it's a great book.
Excuse me. Yes. And for me, it was eye-opening because I've had different health issues throughout my life, physical, stomach issues and digestive issues, and I break out in hives and things like that. And learning about the connection between the body and the mind has been eye-opening for me, and how your body will manifest certain things that you're not dealing with emotionally. So that, to me, that has been life-changing for me. I know that a lot of times that mind-body connection has been a big thing for me, and has been eye-opening for me in learning how my body is interpreting things emotionally if I don't deal with them. So
For sure.
the ACH, or what, tell me again, the ACH modality of hypnotherapy, how is that different from what lay people consider hypnotherapy?
So most people know about traditional hypnotherapy, where there's an induction involved, where I walk you down some stairs, I have you close your eyes, I do some suggestibility testing, and then I would regress the client into a past situation, event, time, place where their issue that they came to me with was presenting, where did it first show up? And so we would do this regression therapy where we would go back to where the client first created that belief. And so having that clarity is really important, but it didn't necessarily change the outcome. It didn't necessarily change the behavior. So in ACH, we don't address the mind that way, because we figured out that the subconscious mind, while it will give you memories, it won't necessarily tell you why that belief is there, or it will not really have any kind of logical reason to have that belief. And it's more than happy to keep it, even if it does harm. And so everything always goes back to safety programs and survival, right? Mechanisms that happen between the ages of 0 and 7. But we also have experiences continuously throughout, the ages of 8 and up. And depending on what happens in our life, with our parents, with trauma, with emotions, we store that information in our subconscious mind as a way to always go back and compare what's happening now, so that we can make decisions based on that original safety program. And so it can mess with relationships, the way that we eat, the way that we deal with stress. Its primary job is to keep us alive. And so in traditional hypnotherapy, I found that therapy was great for clarity, but it only addressed the symptom, which was the creation of a problem based on the original root cause. So it's almost like a tree growing out of the ground. Like the tree, it's got its roots, it's starting to sprout, it grows up, but then it starts to grow branches and leaves, and each individual branch and leaf has its own meaning, right? So in ACH, when we address problems, we're not addressing the superficial aspect of the problem. We're addressing the roots. We're going deep down. We're not going to try and cut off a branch, because that branch is going to grow back. What we want to do is treat the tree at the roots to make sure that the problem goes away permanently, or we uproot the tree altogether and plant a new one that is healthier. It's a resource-based therapy. It's an option-based therapy. And it helps the clients to go back to the original reason where they've created the issue. There's no, what we see when we try to talk about the symptom in ACH is we spin around the problem and we don't actually get anywhere. The client gets frustrated, the therapist gets frustrated, or the coach gets frustrated. But when we go deep, deep down into the roots, there's so much content and context around the problem, and you can't help but see the unraveling of the belief and a creation of a new one that is more beneficial to our clients long term, and it's a permanent change versus a superficial change. So it's a very, very powerful modality.
Since the focus is to get to the root and alleviate there, is it quicker? Is it a quicker process?
For sure. The reason why it's quicker is because we bypass that resistance of the subconscious mind to keep the program much more easily than if we're trying to do something. So in traditional hypnotherapy, by just telling somebody to close their eyes sets up those red flags for the person. And what I found when trying to regress people, even being a client myself, because I wanted to see if I could remove a lot of those issues, emotional issues and trauma issues from my childhood, because it was really affecting my life in so many negative ways. So I just realized, like, I was so well guarded that I wouldn't allow anybody to get deep enough. And the same memories would come up in every session. Didn't matter what problem I was addressing: money, depression, anxiety, procrastination. Like, every single time there was the same memories that came up. And I thought to myself, like, okay, everything's tied together. How is it tied together? Like, why can't I go deeper than this? Why isn't this problem actually shifting and changing my life? And I noticed that it was doing the same thing with my clients. I would get temporary relief, but the problem would come back.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's a much simpler, faster way of getting to the unconscious mind, breaking through the barriers without even, it's like a security system, you know, like the best spy, or like, I don't know, a thief can somehow crack the code so fast and get into the house. Like, that's what ACH is. Like, you're just going through the back door. Nobody notices you getting in there. There's no way of stopping it. Mm-hmm. And so the client tends to just go, okay, you got me. Let's go. Let's just get this out of here. Versus trying to go through the front door and the person, you know, pulling out a gun and going, nope, stay right there. You're not getting any closer to me. I'm calling the police. You're not allowed near the security system, because it's keeping me safe. You can't have it. I want it. It's mine.
A lot of my safety mechanisms I have adapted as an adult. And I realized that even though sometimes they work for what I want them to work for, it's not always the healthiest way, the healthiest for me. So,
yeah.
So I want to make a shift here, because one of the areas that you focus on, it's one of the things that both he and I have had issues with for different reasons. Yeah. But one of your specialty areas is sleep issues. So why is sleep so important to us, for both physically and mentally?
So I feel like there's a lot of misinformation out there around the amount of sleep that people get, because every single person is an individual as far as the amount of hours that they need to actually feel rested. But when we go to sleep, that is the time when our body takes a break from digestion, from, you know, all these different things that we need to stay healthy. And because the mind and the body are connected so intrinsically, if we have enough nights of not being able to sleep, it's going to affect the way that we rest and digest. It's going to affect our nervous system. It's going to affect our mental state. And when we feel tired, we cannot function. When we can't function, we make a lot of mistakes. We become hard on ourselves. We start to get depressed. And it makes life not enjoyable. I can't tell you how many people cancel life because their sleep has affected them so badly that they don't want to be social. They don't want to be around other people. They can't tolerate tiny stresses anymore, let alone the big stresses of life. Like, they can't function. There's no coping skills. And it just affects you on such a deep level. I had about 5 to 6 years of not really sleeping well, between breastfeeding, working, school, the kids, you know, raising them. They weren't great sleepers, but they slept the way they slept. And I need a lot of sleep. For not sleeping that long, it really started to make me very intolerant to my whole life experience. And it made being a parent completely unenjoyable. I felt miserable. I felt like I should be enjoying my children more, and I just can't. Like, life is so hard. So sleep is really important on so many levels, health-wise, but mental health-wise, it's huge.
Mhm.
And when your mind's not right, your body's not right, and one affects the other. So that's why it's so important to sleep well.
Right. I know. I'm a shift worker. My job, we rotate shifts. So there are weeks where I may work 4 days in a row. I'm off seven, and everybody like, you get 7 days off. That's great, you know. And you kind of get a chance to catch up on some sleep, and then I'll go to nights. And usually when I'm on nights, it's like I'm good if I get 4, maybe 5 hours. If I get 5 hours, I consider that a goal because it's like you don't want to miss out on life at the same time. I don't want to sleep the day away and feel like I'm just working and sleeping.
Not
So
enjoying anything.
yeah. So for shift workers, what is the like recommended time that for somebody who works like that? And there are periods where I might have to do it, for 10 to 15 days straight, depending on how.
Mm.
So, what are some recommendations that you can give to a person that kind of lives that lifestyle?
Well, I think what you said is really important. Like, for you personally, 5 hours is what you can tolerate, right? Before things start to affect you more negatively, until that negative self starts to kind of seep in and affect you. Because really, it's the way that we cope with things, the way that we tell ourselves how, like, I can't do this, I can't deal with this. It's that negative self-talk that makes that particular situation a lot more impossible. Now, you have a schedule where you alternate,
Mhm.
but a lot of people who work graveyard shift, they they're working it consistently. They're not alternating, and so that becomes just the way that they deal as lifestyle goes. They kind of figure out how to maneuver around that and still have a little piece of their life. A lot of them have children, young children, and so they have to sleep only so many hours a day. They want to see their kids, and then they got to eat dinner and go back to work. So it really affects your life. But mindset is everything. Like, if you believe that, if you're somebody who has insomnia to begin with, like, a night shift might actually benefit you, because daytime is the only time you feel like your body will actually sleep. So it's really an individualistic experience. Some people like me, I need somewhere between 8 and 10 hours of sleep to feel my best consistently. It's not always possible with the life that I have, but I know people that can sleep on 4 or 5 hours, and they've got so much energy that it doesn't matter what time of day they work. They can just go. So there's really no one size fits all remedy for stuff like this. I just say get as much sleep as you can. Don't be hard on yourself. Like, let yourself know that you're doing your best with the current situation. And if you don't like what you're doing or how it's affecting your life, a lot of people feel like they can't change it, but that's not the truth. It's just a story we tell ourselves. So find a solution, whatever that solution is, to make your life easier and better. We all have a choice, right? But the thing about the mind is, when it gets stuck on something, it stays stuck on that until we can finally see that that belief is no longer beneficial.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
I think with him, part of the thing is, of course, sleeping during the day, um, that's taboo anyways, because you should be up and productive and busy.
Yeah.
And when he's working nights and he's sleeping, like, he texted me last week, I think it was, and you said he was just waking up at 2, and he was like, I can't believe I slept that long. I'm like, good, you needed to sleep that long,
Yeah.
apparently.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
like you said, the mindset, you have to be okay with it. Your body needed rest.
That's
Yeah.
true.
For
Yeah.
individuals who are in situations like that, or who don't know if they're hitting that sweet spot, what are some things to look for so that you can tell that your body is sleep deprived or that you are not getting enough sleep?
Just the way you look is the biggest tell. The way you feel is the biggest tell. If you feel like even after getting 6, 7, 8 hours of sleep, because somebody can sleep 8 hours and still feel tired when they wake up. Look at your eyes, around the bags around your eyes. Look at your skin. Is it peakish? Is it full of color? The way you feel, like, do you feel like you have enough energy to get through the day, or do you feel like you need a nap somewhere in the middle? And that might not just be about sleep. It could be about nutrition. It could be about the way that you're eating. It could be about oxidative stress, because part of my holistic health coaching involves inflammation in the body and reducing that as much as possible so you feel your best, both body and mind. And so there's so many different ways. Are you exercising at all? Like, even in the midst of all of the weird sleeping, are you still getting some kind of cardiovascular workout? Health is so important. So it's all about the way you feel. And if you think you're getting enough sleep, like I slept 7 hours last night, like that's great for me, and that's happening consistently, you have to look at the rest of your life, because everything is a conglomeration of everything that you're doing. The way you eat, the way you exercise, your personality, the way that you cope with stress, everything's involved. I was getting enough sleep after my kids finally started sleeping in their own beds, after I cut co-sleeping, and I still felt tired. But it was because I didn't feel fulfilled in my life either.
Right.
I wasn't working. I was home all the time with my kids, and I felt like I needed to be doing something more. And so there was an internal, external struggle with, I am not quite happy with this life that I chose. So I think I need to start working part-time. I needed to feel like I had a purpose, and I needed to feel like I was helping other people, not just my kids. There's so many different factors. I think sleep is the thing that's easiest to get stuck on with people. But to be honest, when I work with people on the insomnia level, with that being my niche, when we go deep into the unconscious, it's never about the sleep. The sleep is just the symptom of what's going on. It's just something where, like, I should be resting, but my brain is too busy going crazy over these issues that are happening in my life that I can't just shut down enough to actually stay asleep or fall asleep or just get that deep, heavy, restorative sleep that I need. It's been about self-esteem. It's about a person not thinking that they're doing enough in the day. And so there's so many different reasons why somebody might not be resting. And so unless you clear that from the subconscious, it's a lifelong battle.
Right.
So the tips can go any way for in any direction for anybody that you talk to and who's dealing with sleep problems. So it's either you need a lifestyle change, or you're not happy with where you are and you need to accept that and that something needs to change, or you need to change your job because it's affecting your life in a negative way that isn't conducive to your physical or mental health.
Yeah, we have a lot of conversations, me and the guys at work, and a lot of times, especially on nights, we're comparing. Well, even during the day, we're comparing how many hours we slept, and it's crazy because when I'm on nights, I can actually sleep more than when I'm on days because
Isn't that funny?
it takes a longer time for my brain to shut down. And it's crazy because, like, if I get into bed before 10 o'clock, let's just say, and I have to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning if I'm on days. And people might be like, well, that's not enough time to sleep at all. But it's like, I can't shut my brain down. Even if I do, let's say if I get to sleep at 9 or whatever, I'm waking up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Your body's on a schedule.
Yeah. Whether if I wait till 11:30 to go to sleep, I can sleep all the way till 4 o'clock.
I'm asleep by that time.
But
Yeah, I bet.
I'm asleep by that time. I when I hit the pillow, I see him and he's got the iPad, and sometimes I wake up and look and he's with the iPad.
Just roll over, close your eyes again.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
your body's on a clock.
Yeah, I find it difficult myself, but I guess because as society we're used to, hearing, well, you get 8 hours of sleep and that's what you need to survive and be most functional.
Not true.
And so this is probably
Not true.
When a professional say, hey, you don't need 8 hours, you just need good sleep. Every hour time to get.
In Europe, they sleep for about 4 or 5 hours at night, and then they have a siesta in the afternoon. They sleep less at night, and then they nap during the day. So it's different for everybody. That works for that culture, like lives life that way.
Mm-hmm.
But here in the States, all we hear is if you don't get 8 hours of sleep, then that's a problem for you. But that's not true. Like I said, I need 9 hours, like 9 hours, not 8, not 7. 7 I can function on, but I don't feel my best unless I've slept at least 9 hours. So everybody's different. My husband can sleep 4 to 5 hours and he does the same thing as you. He just, circadian rhythm is just that way. And it works for him. And there are some days where he will sleep in and he doesn't give himself a hard time about it. He'll sleep in and he'll go, oh, that felt good. Like he needed that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really just a matter of what you're telling yourself, what you're believing. In the Western medical industry, they treat everybody as if it's a one size fits all. And we couldn't possibly do that. I have clients who in my health coaching, they're talking to me about cholesterol levels and how their cholesterol is 206. And I'm like, but you're in your 70s. You're not 50 years old. You're not 40 years old.
Mm.
You're not 220, which, okay, that's not so great. But everything else has been checked and there's no issues with clotting or whatever in any other part of your body. So how can 206 be bad for you when you're feeling fantastic? It doesn't make any sense to believe that a number on a piece of paper
it defines everything.
For every single person. One of my insomnia clients, everything was about numbers in her session. It was about what I should do, what I have to do, the amount of hours I need to sleep, and this and that. And that was keeping her up on it. Her weight, like all of these things had to be a certain way. And I'm like, but how is that true?
It's not very familiar.
Yeah.
But isn't that such a strange belief that you have to be like every other person on the planet?
Yeah.
And so it's just a weird conversation.
It is.
I am the shoulds. That's one of my big downfalls is the
imperative.
Should this, I should that.
Yep.
And I'm finally getting to a point of just focusing on I need to feel good first and foremost. And if I am shoulding myself, that doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good. So I'm going to stop doing that and I'm going to do things that make me feel good. And once I started to think that way, well, then it's easier to eat better because I feel better when I eat better. It's easier for me to work out because when I'm active, I feel better. But as long as I'm telling myself what I should do, I'm a little bit rebellious.
Should is like it's like a pause.
That's the way the unconscious mind works. You have children, right?
Yes.
You remember when they were little and you said, you need to do this, and they go, no.
Right.
That's the unconscious mind. It does not agree with you. It's not going to let you do the shoulds. The imperatives don't work with the unconscious mind. The needs to, must, have to, should, it doesn't work because it's not ideal for the programs that are there in place.
Right.
So we're happier when we say, I can do that. Do I want to do that? Like there's a big difference. Like, what can I do to make my life easier? And so a lot of times in a session, when somebody says, I have to, or I need to, or I should, who says? My question is, who says?
Mm-hmm.
Whose belief is that? Is that your belief, or does that belief belong to somebody else? Because if it belongs to somebody else, that's not your belief. And that's why you won't be motivated enough to change.
Right. Right.
And that's
huge.
Before we moved where we live, we were in a neighborhood that had a homeowners association. So, if you let your grass get kind of out of whack, you might get a little letter, saying, hey, you need to cut your grass or whatever. So when we moved over here, it's older subdivision, older people close to retirement age that live around us. So I was telling the neighbor when we first moved in about, HOAs and all. So every now and then she'd be like, you hadn't gotten a letter yet, have you? Because, my mind, I'm feeling like, well, grass is getting a little up. I need to go ahead and cut it. And I need to do this and I need to do that. I need to wash the car. But it's amazing how you can tell yourself you need to do something or you should, and you still don't do it. Like you said, you're not.
Need versus want. Right? Need versus want. I want to do this. I want to keep my grass looking nice. That's a totally different feeling, isn't it?
Right. And for me, if I start with the shoulds or needs, I need to do this, and then I don't do it, Well, then after that, I feel bad about not doing
A
it.
lot of guilt.
Now
Yeah.
I'm bad. I'm treating myself bad. I'm saying bad things to myself
Yeah.
because I needed to do this, and I
Yeah.
have to stop myself and say, based on what?
Based on
Yeah.
what?
Who says?
Right. It's the
Who's telling me that I need to do this?
right.
Yeah.
And sometimes what I've realized is that it's from childhood, it's from these
Yep.
old
Yeah.
thought patterns. And I have to stop myself and, okay, you're a grown up now. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
That's
So
100% true. 100% true, for sure.
that connection between mind and body is just, it's amazing when you start to think the control that you can have over your body when you simply work on the mind. So
Yep.
It's all about doing stuff for joy, right? Not right. It's your house. It's your life.
right.
It's your circumstances. You know, you're the one who has to be happy with the way life is going. I stayed in bed all day yesterday. I didn't wake up until late. My
Right.
husband came up the stairs. He was laughing at me. I said, I'm staying here all day. And he started laughing. He's like, we got nothing to do. We got nowhere to go. Do what you got to do. And I said, I realized when I woke up this morning, like, I haven't slept this late in a long time. And you want to know what? I have a lot of things to do, but I'm not doing anything today. I'm staying in bed. I'm just going to rest and enjoy myself.
Mhm.
And he goes, fair enough. Like, just come down and eat every once in a while.
Yes, it's
Get
crazy.
water.
It's
No
crazy how you
problem.
have to give yourself permission to
Mhm.
just relax. I'll do that even. I'll be on the off day.
Yeah.
Man, I ain't even get out of bed till like 11 o'clock today. I just laid around and then I went in the living room and sat and watched more TV.
Felt so good.
It's like, man, I ain't got to do nothing.
Well, one lesson that I've learned, and thankfully I learned from other people's mistakes really well.
Yeah.
And I know that if you don't listen to your body will get very loud. And so last weekend, he was not feeling well coming into the weekend. And that Saturday morning, he said, I think I need to go be seen. It's a man asking to go to the doctor. So yes, we are going to go. And I told him, so we went and he's trying to make sure he doesn't have an ear infection or sinus infection or anything, which he didn't. And so when we got home, he's still not feeling his best. And we were supposed to be recording that day. We had rescheduled and everything. So we don't have anything to do. And he sits on the couch and he's thinking of things to do. And I finally told him, no,
Stop it.
not do any of that. Your body needs rest. And that's what you're going to do. And he sat there with his lip poked out for a little bit. Yes, you did. You sat there. Yep,
That's so cute.
Poked out for a little bit. But he sat there and I know that, like I said, I learned from other people's mistakes. And I have a friend who she's had some significant health issues. And I'm like, your body is telling you to stop and you're not listening. So it's amazing that mind and body connection.
Exactly.
And to be able to be proactive about it and to address the mind and to see and feel the changes in the body is powerful. So
For sure.
the work that you do with people it's needed.
Yeah.
I'm almost, as we ventured out in our podcast journey, we're meeting a bunch of fabulous people like yourself who are just doing some great things. And I'm almost at privy to say that we need to create some legislation for, where, you have health benefits and stuff on your job. We need to create some coaching benefits.
Yeah.
Because everybody's like moving in the same directions. In some places, we're moving in different directions, and everybody has different goals. Everybody has different pathways. But for the most part, we're dealing with the same frustrations, the same childhood traumas. We're dealing with the same issues. And I see that people like yourself are doing things that can help. Even the person, we might not think, well, a CEO might not need, CEO may need help.
Oh, they need more.
They need more.
Right.
They need more.
Because you have more people to deal with,
Yeah. More decisions to make, more obligations, more shoulds, more imperatives, right? They have to live their life a certain way to keep up what they're doing.
there are people who just say, well, you know what? I'm fine. I don't need all that.
I think too that within the last couple of years, there's been this big push about mental health awareness. And I think that we need to understand that that doesn't necessarily mean mental health disorder or that there's a problem.
Right.
Like it's just like your physical health. A lot of people don't necessarily gain weight and then work out. Some people work out to prevent gaining weight. You know that your body needs nutrients, so you eat certain things. So even with mental health, you may be, and for me personally, I was fine without therapy. I think I would have been fine. But with therapy, I've been able to excel. I've been able to go from just, existing to living and to being more aware of things and more aware of the power that I have over myself. So it's the same type of thing with coaching and with reaching out to professionals to get that edge to improve. And it doesn't mean that something is necessarily wrong. It just means you want to improve.
That's a stigma we need to.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's also an issue in as far as like not having legislation for having coaching or some type of therapy as part of the health insurance, right? It is about enhancing your life. It's about helping remove the blockages and the things that keep us stuck in the same old same, like you said. It's not about staying the same and becoming stagnant. Life is forever changing. And so if we're not changing with it, we can really feel the difference in our life experience. And I think that enhancement is so great as a word to describe. That's what therapy does. Like if you can see yourself in a different way and you can take more responsibility for the life choices that you make. And that is a major empowerment factor that a lot of people don't have without seeing that they are the ones who are responsible for whatever happens to them and how their life is going. And I think we get so stuck in believing that we have to stay in a job or we have to be in a relationship or that life has to be this way, that we end up harming ourselves in the long haul of things. And so I think, there's this huge movement in the mental health and wellness field. Yes, there is a lot more mental health awareness. But I think we as people tend to be people of extremes. And so rather than trying to stay in the logical place where we deal with the illogical, we tend to either go one side or the other. And somebody in the therapy industry, the mental wellness industry, coaching or whatever, hypnotherapy, these are the people that, oh my God, there's so many people doing this work now. They're designed to help make you balance. Like that's what therapy is all about. That's what coaching is all about. It's bringing balance back into your life so that you're not in that extreme experience and that you can actually find a way to live and work and everything coexist together in a way that it is beneficial and that you feel like you have a purpose. So which is missing in society, I think. And that's why everybody's so polarized right now.
Right.
Everybody's
and
wound up and scared.
If people could somehow catch on to that and focus on the self-improvement piece and live with a purpose and that being open to other ideas, I think it would be such a better place to be.
Well, no, if people would try to just be open, because I know, coaching, even when she approached me a couple of years ago about coaching, and I was like, well, what is that? She's like, well, it's kind of like it's close to therapy. I need to see some examples. And I'm the type, I need to see examples of things. And
your mind needs proof.
I need okay, what is that? But I think still a lot of people don't know, even in my field of work. When I mention coaching, people are like, what is that? People just instantly think, well, you need to go talk to somebody. You need a therapist. You need,
and there's a negative stigma even with that.
Yeah, it is.
There's
huge.
Right. And like I said, if we could just understand that everyone is dealing with something.
Yep.
Mhm.
And we are human beings. We are meant to be social. And so the idea of going to someone else to get help through whatever it is you're dealing with it's okay. It needs to be normalized.
What is amazing about it is
Yeah.
you people you know and pinpoint everything wrong in their life.
Right.
Can't look at your own life.
Right. Because we need that
Yeah.
outside, we need the outside perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
We need the outside perspective.
You know, we don't have the ability to scrutinize our lives in that way because of that safety program that's in place. There's a reason why the conscious mind, which is our problem solving mind for like our current circumstances, things are like, okay, this problem's here and how do I fix it, right? But when it comes to the unconscious mind, that's the biggest part of the mind. It runs 93 to 97% of what we do on a daily basis. And if it has a program, it's like a computer, right? If that program that's been installed in the computer is set a certain way, it needs to be changed at that level. You need somebody to come in and like take that old program out and help you replace a new one, right? Because that old program's not working, right? But I think the reason why we have so it's so easy for us to look at other people and see everything that's wrong, but we can't do it with ourselves, is because our conscious and our unconscious mind don't communicate. One's got its purpose, right? And that's our daily ins and outs, our safety programs, our survival programs, our communication programs. And then we have our fixer mind. And because the two don't actually work together, to solve problems, that makes it so much harder to spot the issues. Right. Those unconscious moments are fleeting. They're very, what's the word? Like in a session, they only pop out once in a while. Like you have to be a really great catcher of unconscious moments in order to see where the actual issue, like where those issues are coming from. And that's why I think it's really important. Being a trainer of advanced conversational hypnosis, I got licensed last year, at the beginning of last year, to actually train people. I'm one of only 32 people in the entire world who can teach people this modality. I just had a master class 2 weeks ago, and I'm helping psychiatrists and coaches in Canada and like all these different people get better at spotting that unconscious work, because unconscious moments, because those are what help us to actually change our situation, change our beliefs. It helps to see those programs aren't actually really that helpful. And so I have another class coming up in June. I'm gonna host another nice class through Zoom and help people who are professionals, and whether it's hypnotherapy, NLP, like psychiatry, psychology, coaching. I'm helping people to get better at helping other people. They want faster results. They want permanent results. They want epic breakthroughs. They want to start living their life now. And you can't help somebody when you're working with them over and over and over again around the symptom.
So if someone is interested in that upcoming masterclass or interested in other services that you offer, where can they find you? So
I have a website, lifetransformationsolutions.com. My Calendly links for scheduling is on there. You can book a strategy call with me, complimentary, and we can talk about, like, if you're a professional and you're looking to revolutionize your practice, charge more for your work less, save time, like get rid of all the time wasting preparation stuff. That's the methodology that I work with and that I teach. And then if you would like to work with me, all of my social media links are on there. You can email me through the website, and you can contact me also through the Calendly link as well. Set up your complimentary strategy call before you even work with me, so I can find out what is your problem, what are you looking for help in, and talk about what I do. Because this therapy, this coaching, this practice of hypnosis is so rapid compared to anything that I've ever done, that, like with my insomnia clients, I'm getting them to sleep in one session, 1 hour to an hour and a half session, even if they've had a lifetime of insomnia. I've had a client that didn't sleep for 35 plus years, and literally within, I think the night after I worked with her, she slept through the night. Wow. So, and this is somebody who would maybe sleep 1 or 2 hours over the course of 2 weeks and not get any sleep, running a professional business and a household and kids.
Right. That in itself is life changing.
One session. I mean, come on.
Right.
I think that, our society is, especially with entrepreneurship and, business, our society is driven more towards that now.
Yeah.
Pandemic, and people are just like, okay, because you have so many of these gurus out here, financial gurus who put commercials on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. They're telling you, they come up with the ads. Well, what are you doing? Why are you not doing this? And we caught up in that stigmatism, and it's like now you've got to stay on the go.
That stigma.
You just got to stay busy. You got to keep going. Yeah. If you're sleeping, you're doing nothing.
Yeah.
And
I don't want to work that hard.
Right.
It's like that hustle mentality.
The bag will be there. You don't have chasing the bag. That's the new terminology. It's like, why are you chasing the bag? The bag is going to be there. Just work towards it, walk towards it.
You'll
sleep when you die.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I like my sleep. I don't care if it's going to take up 20% of my life. I don't care. I want rest. I want to be able to be with my family, homeschool my kids, and build my business. I want to work less, and I want to be able to charge more money. And I can do that because my clients are getting multiple outcomes after one session. It's not just about the insomnia. The fact that we do root cause work changes so many different directions of their life. It's not just a one-shot deal and done. And it can be done rapidly, where people who are in therapy for 1 year, 2 years, 20 years, they're not solving anything. They're getting clarity. They've got an ear. They're becoming codependent on somebody else to give them solutions. But guess what? You are the one who created all of the problems based on your survival program. So you're the one who has to be able to fix it. And I'm not going to fix it. I don't claim to fix my clients. My clients are 100% doing the work, but they need to be 100% in it when they give me a call or they walk through my door. They have to be ready. And that's the biggest step for people. It's the being ready. It's the whatever investment it takes financially, and that you're willing to have for yourself. And it's that I'm at the precipice. I'm ready to step across into the next room, or I'm ready to jump off the ledge. I'm ready for the change. And that's a huge part of people getting the results. That's a good percentage of the work that's being done. But the second that you open yourself up to working with somebody because you are really ready to shift and change, this work there's nothing it can't do, because you're the one who's solving all your own problems. You're the one who becomes confident and self-sufficient. You're the one who builds your self-esteem. You're the one who gets better coping mechanisms put in place. You're the one who chose all of that. I can't do that for you. I'm not going to fix your problem. Nobody can. Right. So when you are ready, that's when things need to happen. And people are ready all the time, but they're just not getting the proper work done, and they're spinning and it's frustrating. Right. And I don't know about you guys, but we live in a very fast-paced world. Mm-hmm. I don't want to sit with somebody every week or every month for a year. I want to get in, fix my problem, and get out. And I know that seems unreasonable, but it's not with this modality that we have now. So
as a practitioner, I'm sure that to see the clients be successful in that quick amount of time and to, transform their life in that quick amount of time has to be satisfying.
So fulfilling.
Right.
Yeah. I cry for my clients. I get so emotional because, they've been in pain for so long on so many different levels. I mean, I'm not using ACH with the current client that I have for holistic health coaching, but this woman wasn't even enjoying her life, and her husband thought that she was giving up, and she's in her 70s, and she was diagnosed with a health condition that no doctor would help her with. They kept telling her that she didn't have what she knew she had. And just by talking, sitting down with her for a half an hour to an hour once every 2 weeks, I have one more session with her out of 6 sessions. And in the first 6 weeks, she lost 12 pounds. She's feeling amazing. She's so dedicated to herself. And her husband even said to me, he's like, I don't know. He's like, you know, you're doing a great job with her, because I've seen such a shift in just the way she's walking, the way she feels, her motivation, her mood, everything's been so different. And he's like, in such a short period of time, he's like, thank you so much. And I'm like, she was willing.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
Right.
she was willing. And all I had to do was find out what she could do for herself and start helping her implement that. You know,
Right.
people don't feel like they have the ability to help themselves. They just need somebody who can kind of push themselves out of their comfort zone just enough to see that they're purely capable. ACH does that. My type of coaching does that. They're both very similar in the way that I help people. It's about you knowing that you have the ability to change your own life, because you do. And I just pull on your intrinsic nature of being a fixer.
Right.
Right. That's fantastic.
And it also, I would imagine that your clients, that's going to empower them even more, because you are stressing to them that it's them putting in the work, and they are putting in the work and seeing results. So not only are they increasing their confidence in you, but they're increasing their confidence in themselves.
Yes.
And
It's a lifetime lesson.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's a lifetime lesson. So once they finally figure out that, like, they're purely capable of doing the thing that it takes to get themselves to the place where they want to be, their whole life shifts, because now they think, if I could do it here, I could do it in this other area of my life as well.
Right.
And it's just a matter of building up that confidence is so important, because when we doubt ourselves, we can't get anything done. We just completely shut ourselves off from being successful people. And so it's just, mind shift is so important, and confidence is so important in working with people.
Right.
That's fantastic. Well, Regina, I tell you, this has been an enlightening conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Pleasure.
With it, I'm encouraging to the listeners, look, contact Regina, contact somebody.
Yeah.
Get you some therapy, because we all need it. I mean, regardless of how you may think your life is on top of the world right now, and you got everything figured out, but we all need it.
Yeah.
We thank
even the coaches that I work with have their own coaches. They know it's important to stay on track and to stay out of their own way. And yeah, so it doesn't matter who you work with. I would love to help you. Like, this is definitely my purpose.
Yes.
This is where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to help people help themselves and help their clients. So I'm really fortunate to have found that, and be a big part of the collective consciousness shift that's happening with people. So,
well, we thank you again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for.
Of course.
This conversation has helped us as well as our listeners. So, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Beyond I Do podcast.
Please make sure to like this episode and also subscribe to our podcast. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at the Beyond I Do podcast.
And until next time, we will holler at y'all.